Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure. I know Tony was with you, for those of you that are here yesterday. So Southwest Mutual, yeah, a regional bank. So what I want to, because as Wendy's alluded to, 6-7 minutes is not very long, and I've got probably about 50 pages of stuff to tell you. So I'll try and keep it as succinct as I can. So I'm going to just talk to you about why we think a regional bank is needed, what it is that we're looking to provide, and then really a short timetable of what we hope that to look like, because we're really action orientated about how do we do something with the ideas that we've had and we've been working on. So in a nutshell, bank branches in the southwest region, which for us is Devon, Cornwall, Somerset and Dorset, have reduced by 42%. That's 327 branches in the last 5 years. 110 of those are in Devon itself. And we also know that even post-COVID, there is still a demand for people to be able to have access to cash. 72,000 people within this particular part of the world are reliant on cash being part of their day-to-day life for whatever purpose they decide to use it for, and that's from YouGov stats. And also, a lot of people, there's a large proportion of people don't understand the decisions that are made by banks when it comes to things like SME lending, personal lending, by automated decisions. They can't always get an understanding of why they might have been declined for facilities. So the other bit that will be slightly different for Southwest Mutual is our research independently confirms that branches are a really important part of a brand for a bank. People want to be able to have the opportunity to go into a branch. And I think it's fair to say that the shift towards that is more focused on interaction. So people tend to go into branches when they have problems, when they want to talk to somebody, when they want advice, or perhaps they're unsure about what they want to do. So branches is very much part of our plan. What that looks like post-COVID and the type of branches that we'll look to doing is part of the plan that we're working on at the moment. But they are a key touch point for people. So what is it we're looking to do? So we want to offer simple and fair products. When we started talking about the vision and values of this new bank, and I've worked in banking for 30 years for some of the big names. I've worked for Mutual Building Society as well. I won't do any advertising, but we do know that people want relationships. They want to know and trust, and there is a lack of trust in some of the large high street banks, particularly for SMEs and micro businesses, and that's a particular a category of customers that we want to support through specific products that support them. Local decision making and giving ownership to branches and local people that understand their local communities and be able to make good decisions. And yes, we need automation. This will be an omni-channel bank that offers cutting edge technology, mobile apps, but also it gives the option for people to have a face and a relationship for somebody to talk to. We also have a very clear focus about supporting the unbanked. There's a large number of people in this region and in Devon who can't get bank account facilities, therefore can't pay by direct debit or other means of payment, which means that from a poverty point of view, they are charged the highest tariffs in a lot of cases because they simply don't have access to simple banking facilities. And also it helps with financial education and helping people to grow a good credit history for the future for when they may want to purchase houses. But also there's a market here for us around supporting small and micro businesses, but also some of those niche markets that we feel are under supported from banks and building societies currently. So things like community benefit setups, charities, businesses with social purpose, community land trusts, community housing development situations where they really need to either access or they need to be able to have somebody who can guide them through the banking process. We hear lots of stories about people wanting to change signatories on accounts, which can be a complete nightmare for people, and lots of centralised support and not necessarily understanding the difference that the Southwest has as an economy and as a place to live and work. So we think that local knowledge is something key to helping people save with us and us being able to then lend that money out to local people to support, growing that local economy, which is a lot of what this focus is about today. We also think that funding has been suppressed because people don't understand necessarily how they can get access to funding through banks. It's too complicated. They don't understand the decision-making process, or they don't have that relationship, which for them is really important. So we want to step into that space. And ultimately, there's an environmental piece for us behind this as well, around how do we support that transition to a carbon neutral world, where we can fund people to help them, either businesses or individually, do something about making this a much safer place for them to live, and for the future of the planet is a really important part of it for us. So there's a couple of, keeping an eye on the time, the differences that we want to focus on is about having mutual trust between us and our customers, not having hidden fees, no excessive bonuses for executives, and making sure that we pay well. That I've been lucky enough to write the kind of people piece, and then making it a brilliant place to people to work, because we know that if people feel part of something that is good for their local area, that they will feel more engaged in working there, they'll provide a better quality of service, and they'll care about the decisions that they make ultimately for their customers. So I guess just to wrap up in terms of when, because I'm sure you'll all be thinking, so when are you going to bring this to us? We've been writing the plan now for well over a year, and you will understand that it is a complex situation to write a business plan for a future bank, for the regulation that surrounds it, but we're well on our way to doing that. We hope to submit what's called our regulated business plan in August. But for now, really, we aim to launch in 2022. And this is not a pitch, but it takes a large amount of money for us to set up this business. So the next stage will be fundraising, and how do we get money to invest to set up the infrastructure and the technology for the future of setting up South West Mutual. But ultimately, this is about delivering better value for customers in this region, and in Devon in particular. I'm a Devon boy, born and bred, so I'm really passionate about making our local communities thrive. So I hope that you can follow our journey on our website. We also have a regular newsletter, which is just to be launched later on this week, so you can keep up to date with our progress. But I hope you think, from what I've told you in this brief session, that we think there's a really good place for regional, ethical, member-owned bank for Devon and the other parts of the South West region.